Hello and happy International Women's Day. Suzanne Lucas, I'm thrilled to have you here with us here at Viva Valley YouTube channel.
I'm so excited.
Suzanne, thank you for joining us. For those of you who don't already know Suzanne Lucas, she is also known as Evil HR Lady, which she has so eloquently in her background. She is a top HR influencer globally. She is a keynote speaker on HR issues, as well as a TEDx speaker, and just a really fantastic person to be able to talk to about trends in HR, especially how they impact women here on International Women's Day. So Suzanne, welcome. So glad that you can be with us.
I am really happy to be here. Top priority for me.
Fantastic. So a question I'm burning to ask you is, as you are this HR expert, top influencer in HR, what are some of the trends that you see in workplaces that are impacting women? Because again, it's International Women's Day. And given those trends, what can we do to take action now?
Well, one of the big things that we saw with COVID, of course, is that everybody either went home or got fired. And or women left their jobs voluntarily, and voluntarily is a good term, right? Because somebody had to, the schools were closed, daycares were closed, somebody had to take care of the children. And now as that has wound up, we're finding a lot of people still wanting to work from home, but a lot of those burdens haven't gone away. On a lot of women are still in this balancing thing. I mean, it wasn't that they weren't before, but it just became exacerbated when the rest of the world shut down, but none of my problems left, right? I got additional problems
Exactly.
on top of it with no help.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been something that people have really faced. And then of course, coming back to the workforce and then coming back to working in the office again. While people talk about it a lot, really only about 15% of jobs are remote. So the vast majority of people are working in an office or a store or a warehouse. They're working somewhere other than their home.
So given the stresses you're talking about, that which we went through from COVID, and now that we're going back to work, I love what you said. Our problems didn't go away. We might have been working from home for a while. Now we're back in the office. We still have the same care burdens as women for the younger generation and the older generation as well. And we still have careers and jobs to do. So what can we do to support women who are managing those two aspects of the life cycle, of a human life cycle, as well as being in the workforce?
One of the things that companies can do for people is recognize that there's these things outside of our lives. You always hear people that like, oh, I want to hire someone that's not in this for the money, that they're just passionate about it. Oh, forget you. People take jobs because they need a paycheck. And it doesn't matter how passionate they are about your topic. If you're not paying them, they're not coming, which is how it works. That's real life. And everyone should have priorities outside of work. It's not healthy if 100% of you is on your job. It's you may think as a boss, oh, that's what I want. I want people that are, 24/7 thinking about widgets, but that's not healthy for them. And that's when you're going to get massive burnout in the workplace. So first, companies have to recognize there are stuff going on around, and that those things are important. And if employees, and especially women, because caregiver roles tend to fall on women, and we can discuss why that is, but that's a different topic. It's just, we have to accept the reality, right? This is the reality that we're living in, that these roles, women take them on themselves or they fall on them, both ways. If those needs aren't being met, then they can't be the type of employee that you want them to be either. So we need to come up with this balancing between them and support people in all aspects of their life.
Mm-hmm. So in supporting women in all aspects of their lives as they are in an office as well, what can an employer do to support women who want to lean in, as we say with Sheryl Sandberg, and stay in the workforce and drive their careers forward and they still have the burdens of caregiving, either for younger children or for seniors that there are in their lives. What can companies do right now to support that today?
The first thing is to let your employees set boundaries and for you to set boundaries. But one of the things that I do is my phone goes on night mode or whatever at 10 o'clock at night. And I figure anybody else messaging me can wait until morning, right? And your work email, your work things, that's really kind of an unhealthy time limit, 10 o'clock at night, but I'm
It's a
passionate.
boundary. Yeah, boundary is a boundary, right?
It should be earlier for your employees, right? And you should be clear that it's my business. That's why I'm passionate about it, right? My employees are employees. They may like what they do, but that's it. That if I send you an email at 10 o'clock at night, you are under no obligation to answer it. And years ago, when I had this terrible bout of insomnia for pregnancy-induced insomnia, it was super fun. I would get up at 2 in the morning and do work because what else am I going to do at 2 o'clock in the morning besides eat, which I also did. I would have my email not send those emails until 8:30 or 9 o'clock the next morning, because I found out when I was sending emails at 7 o'clock in the morning, at 2 o'clock in the morning, and my employees were getting up at 6:37 and they were checking their email and there's 4 emails from their boss. It was causing them stress. And I was like, no. I have insomnia. I don't expect you to handle this then. But that was just a little thing that I did, that so I can work whenever, but you're not going to see it in your inbox until your working hours. And that's just a little tiny free thing that you can do to reduce that stress, to allow your employees to be like, when I'm off work, I'm off work.
So that's to say that culture matters, and at the leadership, women or men in leadership have the responsibility to set that working culture of certain hours are on, certain hours are off, and live by that. This is a really great thing. That's an action we can take today to help women who are caregivers not feel that stress that they have to be on 100%.
Right. And, one of the things that I used to remind my staff is we're not brain surgeons here. No one's going to die if we don't get this done right now. That's not to say that there's not high pressure projects or things that cannot miss a deadline. There are those. And there are brain surgeons out there that someone is going to die. But that's not my job. And so if that report goes out an hour later, is the world going to end? No. And not to say we shouldn't be punctual, not to say we shouldn't meet deadlines, but there is that need to just step back on the importance scale and things and build some time into things. And you say, oh, but we run lean. I hear this all the time. We run lean. One of my bad wastes of time, my hobbies, is I scroll through Facebook Reels, because I know that's an old lady thing to do. The young folks use TikTok, but I use Facebook Reels because I'm old. And I love watching both cake decorating videos and carpet cleaning videos. Have you seen these?
Obsessed. Yes.
Yeah. So with both the cake decorating videos and the carpet cleaning videos, on the cake decorating videos, they put on a metric ton of frosting and then they scrape it off. And that's how you get this smooth, beautiful thing. They don't run lean. They're not like, okay, we need to save money by having just the exact right amount of frosting. We can't have any frosting waste. And the same thing with the carpet cleaning videos. They are with the amount of water that they use, and they're just putting soap on like there's no tomorrow, and they're pushing all these different machines, and they have all these different machines. They're not like, ooh, we need to just use one machine and let's measure out our water, right? Because they know that when you run lean, it takes more effort on the part of the person working. Can you imagine if you limited your water in your carpet cleaning, and the guy has to sit there with a little bucket and a scrub brush because he can't use his tools that he has? And the cake decorating the same way. If you're like, okay, every cake should end up with 3 ounces of frosting. I have no idea how much frosting goes on a cake. I don't know. And that's it. And that's all you get to use. And then you've got to take all that extra time to like smooth the squares. They just pour this massive amount and then their thing spins around and they scrape it off and they have the tools. When you run lean, it's like trying to decorate a cake or trying to clean a carpet without the right tools and without the right extra. So it takes longer and your result isn't as good. So running lean isn't saving you the money that you think it is.
And it's putting more pressure on your employees, clearly, and especially on this focus today on International Women's Day. The pressure is on women because we have it in the workplace, and then we have those extra elements of caregiving burdens on both sides of the life cycle.
Exactly.
So Suzanne Lucas, thank you again for joining us today with Viva Valet in celebration of International Women's Day. It's a delight to have you here. Again, for those of you who want to follow up with Suzanne, you find her at Evil HR Lady. You can also find her TEDx talks. She's also a contributing author to Inc. magazine, and follow her for always some really excellent articles that she's contributing. So thank you so much, Suzanne. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.